welcome back. It's the first Metta meditation session in a number of months. So I'm coming from Perth last week with my two Anagarikas. So we've all had a really beneficial retreat. I always hope I'm going to come back really bright and shiny. But of course, the journey, the jet lag, that's the first thing we sort of face. And of course, the change, there's a bit of a culture shock, not from England to Australia necessarily, but weather-wise, Buddhist community-wise. Over there, it's a huge kind of village, really, that you live in. There's a centre, the Jhana Grove Retreat Centre, Bodhinyana Monastery, and then also Dhammasara, which is the nuns' monastery about 100 kilometres away. But we kind of share one huge support network of thousands. On Katina days, it's like 2,000 to 3,000 people come. Katina is like symbolizing the end of the rains, and that's when people offer a robe and all other requisites to the Sangha that sustain them for most of the year. And you really see the size and the power and the devotion in that community in Perth. So over here, it's different. Like there's not a lot of activity on the ground. There's just the three of us here right now. But we do have the international outreach and all of you. So I see more people on Zoom than I do kind of day by day. But I feel that whoever's involved with Anukampa is extremely devoted and loyal to it. And so there's a certain intimacy and a certain richness in our community. We kind of know each other. Even those of you I've not yet met, there's a sense of resonance there with what we do and the way that the Dhamma is taught. So thank you very much for being part of this bit, I guess slightly smaller, but also fairly extended family. And yeah, it's also nice for me to recognize that I have this huge family, internationally, and that this is just a little portion of it. So we're all part of something much bigger. Anyway, this morning we had a very nice discussion after breakfast about what we could potentially talk about in the Metta meditation, what sort of angle to take on the Metta. And my Anagarikas came up with the idea of Metta to emotions. Metta to our emotional world. Okay, Anagarika Upachala, yeah. And then we proceeded in writing down quite a lot of emotions. It was interesting because with the positive emotions, which are emotions, it took a little bit of time to warm up. And then we noticed at the end that we've forgotten bliss. So bliss is maybe, a bit further on right now. But we did get a really comprehensive kind of list of different positive emotions. By positive, I don't mean that anything should be condemned, and that there's one that's good and one that's bad. I just mean that these are emotions to be cultivated that can actually nourish our spiritual path. And then the more afflictive emotions, the emotions that cause suffering, that was really easy. Probably because we'd warmed up by then, but it was really easy to write them down. And so I might just bring up a few of them so that you get an idea, because sometimes when we turn inside and contact our emotional world, we might feel that there's nothing much happening there. I don't know, how many of you sort of, if you close your eyes, for how many of you does something jump out? Can you get a sense of your emotional world right now? Or is it kind of ambiguous, nameless, kind of fuzzy, vague? Sometimes that's because emotions are things that we feel, not really things we can describe. But the more we kind of connect with that, without judgment, without prejudice or wanting, without any demand, something starts to manifest. It might be just a feeling of flatness or even numbness. It could be a feeling of tranquility. It could be a feeling of peace. Peace is an emotion. Contentment is an emotion. Satisfaction. brightness, warmth, tenderness, maybe sadness, maybe anger. If so, you're in the right place. This is metta, the antidote to that. Feeling of helplessness or hopelessness, cloudiness, boredom, longing, so many emotions. So these are just a few. And it could be something in between. So you will look like you're already connecting within. So perhaps we'll just start from here. And before we start sending metta to our emotional world or finding a way to be disposed to our emotions, to relate to our emotions with qualities of love, qualities of acceptance, care, let's just begin by settling our bodies and allowing them to be deeply at ease as much as is possible for you right now. So sometimes when we close our eyes, we notice that we've sat down in too much haste. We haven't really taken the time and the care to perhaps give ourselves a stretch or really check in and ask our body how it can be more comfortable. And it's really worth making those adjustments in the beginning. We'll be sitting for about half an hour or so. So if your cushion is slightly wonky, you can adjust it. If your belt is tight, we wear belts to keep our robes in place. So just make it tight. Maybe your shoulders are crunched or hunched or just kind of contracted. So maybe roll them back. Invite them to take up more space. Check that your weight is evenly distributed between the two buttocks, the two legs, between your feet if you're sitting on a chair. And going up your spine, checking that it's in a comfortable position. Sometimes it needs a little stretch before you let it go, let it soften. Sometimes you're just too tired and it's more easeful to lean against a chair or a sofa. That's fine as well. And check how your head is balancing right now on the top of your spine, your neck. I find bringing a little more length to the neck can be helpful and allow my head just to slightly lower, the chin to slightly lower, as though there's a string on the top of the head, just slightly lifting it up. And as I did that, actually, the whole spine straightened. Giving the tummy a bit more space, opening up the tummy and opening up the rib cage. And your body gives you feedback as to what is helpful. So really tuning in to what's good for you right now. And just enjoying the posture, the sitting posture. And what that represents. Right now, you put down any other task or duty. You put down all responsibilities except to just care. Maybe you can even invite yourself to put down any social identity you carry around. Civil servant or administrator, nurse, partner, friend, daughter, son, parent. Right now, it's just this experience happening now. And allowing the mind to be soft and gentle. And just spreading your awareness gently through your body from the top of the head, across the scalp, like a gentle mist, spreading over the forehead, relaxing any tension in the brow, in the eyes, letting the eyes be soft, letting the cheeks be soft, the lips, the jaw. Picking up any sensations across the face, the neck, the shoulders, and just relaxing with them, letting them be. Moving down your arms, noticing every part of your arm, the elbow, forearm, the wrist, exploring your hands, fingers, fingertips, through the realm of sensation. Just picking up whatever you naturally notice without any force and giving it care, letting it be. And moving through your chest, from the throat area down through the chest, all the way to the armpits, the rib cage. Maybe allowing your awareness, if it soaks in naturally, to move inside to the organs. Just having a sense of where those organs are and noticing any feelings, allowing them to be. Maybe noticing your chest expanding on the in breath, and settling down on the out. Feeling your tummy area, a place we often hold a lot of emotion. Being kind to the tummy, allowing it to be soft. all the way down to the pelvic area. And then starting from the back of the neck, moving down the trunk, including your shoulder blades, your spine, your rib cage, the lower back, right down to the buttocks and the hips. So the whole trunk with all various organs working hard. Just give them permission to relax. Noticing the feelings in the buttocks, maybe weight, heaviness, pinching, maybe tingling. And slowly moving down the thighs. Allowing your awareness to soak through the skin to the flesh, the muscles, maybe right through into the bones. Just receiving any sensation you notice right now with an attitude of kindness and care. Allowing thighs to soften. And coming to your knees. Just being with whatever feelings you have in your knees. If your knees are well positioned, then you're not causing them any harm. So just staying with any discomfort, seeing if you can gently massage those areas. So you're massaging them with your mind, allowing them to be, allowing them to loosen and relax. And moving down your shins, your calves, to the ankles. Just feeling whatever is present right now, allowing it to be with kindness and care. All the way through your ankles to your feet. Enjoying relaxing your feet. The heel, the sole, all the way to the toes, ridge of the foot. See if you can notice your toes and any feelings in your toes, allowing them to relax. And now allowing the lens of your awareness to widen, to include the whole body sitting. Noticing any feelings, any sensations. And also noticing the qualities in your mind right now. Do you notice any emotion, mood, feeling tone? Maybe sadness or restlessness, maybe relaxation, even joy. And just noticing that this too has a life of its own. This too needs care. Just noticing your relationship to whatever you feel in your emotional world. Maybe flatness, maybe indistinct, but there's something there, there's some emotional mood. Who will benefit from your care. Just having a feeling of loving kindness, acceptance, goodwill towards your emotional world, which keeps changing, which, like everything else, is impermanent, conditioned, not self. If it is a difficult emotion, see if you can embrace it like a mother would embrace her only child, with empathy and understanding, with an unconditional hug. Regarding your emotional world with kindly eyes, eyes of understanding, eyes of love. Perhaps allowing any physical bodily sensations to be your guide to your emotional world. Sometimes they're so connected. If you wish, you can further steady the mind with words that resonate for you, such as, may my emotions be well. Feel accepted. May I be kind to my body and mind. Keeping your mind spacious, allowing feelings and emotions to flow through. If you find you're getting stuck in a particular mood or judgment, or perhaps clinging, grasping to pleasant states, once again check the quality of your mind. Allow it to be soft and gentle. And just give your emotional world some space. Whatever you feel, it's okay. It belongs. It too is in need of love. And perhaps now, slowly starting to spread this metta out, first to a loved person, someone in your life who's a friend or who you care for. Recognizing they too have an emotional world. Giving them permission to feel what they feel and extending our good wishes to them without trying to change or fix, but just accepting them as they are. Perhaps they're going through a particular emotional challenge at this time, or just recognizing that because their emotions, their moods always change, can we give them space to be? How would it be to allow the people in our lives to show up with all their emotional richness and complexity, and just to accept them as they are without judgment, without demand, with a calm and loving presence. And now bringing to mind everyone in this metta session, people on Zoom, the two Anagarikas right here with me, including myself, including yourself, each with our own emotional world, sometimes parallel to us, sometimes manifesting differently at different times. Sending metta to each one of us, emotional beings, subject to sadness, to sorrow, to fear, capable of generosity, happiness, even bliss, deep peace. May we all be at ease with our emotions and at ease with each other, no matter how we feel. And see if you can keep widening the circle of loving kindness to include the emotions of beings far and wide. Sometimes harmful emotions of hate, of jealousy, of pride, but also incredible emotions such as deep inner peace, compassion, wisdom, courage. A vast array of emotions in the human realm. And spreading metta to the lower realms, the animal realms, based on fear, based on lust, greed. Even animals have nuanced emotions. Some animals have courage, affection, tenderness, even love. Realms of the ghosts, the hungry ghosts, and the hell realms based on sorrow, grief. And the higher realms, the Deva realms, the Brahma realms, based on joy. May all beings make peace with their emotional world. May all beings develop acceptance and loving kindness towards the challenges they face, until that loving kindness pacifies all afflictive emotions, allowing us to cultivate genuine love, contentment, and peace. Sabbe sata, sabbe pana, sabbe buddha, sabbe pugala, sabbe atabhawa pariyapana. Sabaitio, Sabe Purisa, Sabe Aria, Sabeya Naviya Sabe Deva Sabe Manusa Sabe Vinipadika Awera Hontu Abhyapaja Hontu Anika Hontu Sukhiyatanam Pariharantu Dukkhamunjantu Yadalada Sampatito Mawe Gachantu Kamasaka Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Excellent. Where's Matthew's popped off to? He's usually our biggest sadhua. Ah, we just don't see his face. Sadhu. Brilliant. Yeah, okay. I saw you smiling before we even began. That really encouraged me with the sadhus. That's great. I don't know if it's because of your anticipation or just the metta meditation itself. So, I don't know. How was that for people? Could you open a little bit to the realm of emotions? Yeah, thumbs up. I found that interesting. I didn't sort of plan it really at all, but spreading metta to other people, including their emotional worlds, and just realizing that we run on emotions, all of us, you know, whatever we label under that, whatever we include under that label, it actually encompasses most of, you know, our felt experience, doesn't it? And the kind of drivers of our behavior, and how so many of us are just ruled by our emotions, and what a kind of great tragedy in many ways that is. You know, if we can get that little bit of space around our emotional world and not condemn the afflictive or so-called, well, I guess harmful emotions can be harmful, you know, if they're acted out, then if we can give them that bit of space, that bit of loving kindness, then it does actually settle things down. It allows them to be, so they don't get kind of pushed down into the subconscious layers of the mind and kind of intensify there before they explode. So it's such an important part of practice. I mean, we could talk about this for hours, and you know, we did talk about it after our work meeting. We were meant to get on with the duties, but we ended up talking for about 40 minutes just on naming emotions and realizing what a huge field of practice that is. So perhaps this was helpful in one approach to handling our emotional world. Acceptance, patience, letting things be. So any comments or questions or responses to anything I've said or to the session, you can write them in the chat or raise your hand virtually, or I can probably see your video, most of you. Otherwise, it'd be nice to know how you're feeling now, even if it's just a word. It calmed me down a lot, relaxed, calm. I don't know if that was before or after Richie, possibly beforehand. It was a wonderful practice. I feel more peaceful. Thank you. Shirley has something to share. Hey. Very beautiful, quiet, excellent. Feel more peaceful.
My hand keeps raising whenever I open the chat for some reason.
Oh.
Bizarre. I don't know why.
Would you like to say anything?
Feel spacious. That's what I was going to put in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You're also welcome to just unmute and speak with the word. When it's a big group, you end up all speaking together, but in a small group, it might It might work. Okay, feeling calm and empowered. Feel like it was just what I needed. Thanks to Anagaka Pachala for suggesting this. Feel peace, feeling more calm and being clear to stay at home and take time for myself. Excellent. So it's resulted in a decision for you based on what you need. That's great. Feel more open with my tiredness. Yeah, let it be. I guess it's giving things space, isn't it? And time as well, because sometimes we just run on through the day without really taking time to notice how we feel. Wow, it takes some time to process this touching meditation, to move it in the mind. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's a lifelong path and practice, right? To stay connected to ourselves. One helpful anchor that's I find more immediate is to just stay connected to some sense of the feelings in the body. And that can be a huge indication of the emotional state of mind. Many things are kind of so correlated, such as butterflies in the tummy, or kind of contraction in the chest can sometimes be a sign of anxiety. Heat, palpitation can sometimes be a sign of fear or maybe anger, right? I remember once somebody getting angry when I was doing my degree. I don't know what happened. I think it was, anyway, the details are kind of irrelevant, but they came to talk to me and my friend with real anger. And I remember seeing this person's emotions literally rise up the chest, up the neck, and into her face with redness, bright redness. I remember seeing it come up her neck, and then her face was bright red with anger. And at that time, I was so kind of embodied and balanced in myself that I was able to just stand steady and speak very calmly and explain, my perspective and say, I said something like, it's important we don't so quickly judge and we give one another the benefit of the doubt. And then I saw the redness like go down the way to come, like drain out of her face and go down. And then we all went and had lunch together. It was very beautiful. Yeah, it was I mean, it could have been scary in a way, but it was so clear, So not only the feeling, but sometimes it manifests in something physical that we can read. And if we are embodied and established in a sense of love and kindness, we can actually affect the emotions of others in a very positive way. Yeah, great. So there's a little list of ways you can support us there. And then another comment, this method reminds me of right effort on the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah. And I guess, right effort is a whole field as well. Sometimes we make more intentional effort. Sometimes just establishing right attitude is enough to kind of incline the emotions in a positive way. One thing I was noticing in that practice was that I didn't feel I was doing very much. I just felt like I was sort of permeating mentally the sort of emotional realm, like this kind of mist. I don't know, maybe because it's sort of misty in the autumn, there's this kind of background mist that has a certain quality. And after a while, when that becomes, very clear, like the actual metta in the mind towards the object becomes very clear, it almost replaces the object. It becomes the object itself. Does that make sense? So it's like the loving kindness actually becomes the overriding experience. Yeah, and the tiredness, the grogginess kind of fades. Not trying to displace it, but yeah, we become more aligned with these beautiful intentions of mind. Good. So, any last comment? Thanks for the tips on soya milk. They're saying we can make soya milk by blending soaked soybeans and almonds. I'm not sure if my Anagakas are up for that. They do a lot of stuff around the place.
Nut grinders.
We have a nut grinder, do we?
That's
Oh.
the time I got for making nut milk.
Okay. Yeah, good. All right. So I think our next session is on Wednesday. Metta chanting, 5:30 BST. What else? I'm actually going to London tomorrow on Sunday to the Jamyang Centre. There's a kind of celebration for the Meridian Trust, who are a kind of Buddhist organization. I think it's more a Tibetan one. And they've invited me to speak on a panel with one of the senior bhikkhunis in the Tibetan tradition. She's Australian. Her name is Robina Curtin. Some of you might know her. Check her out on YouTube. She's a force of nature. Probably a bit scary too, but anyway, I will go embodied. But she's right, you know when people speak the truth and they speak it fearlessly. It's feisty, but she's really sharp. And so anyway, I'm going to be on a panel talking about spreading the Dhamma, disseminating the Dhamma in modern times. So we'll see what happens. If any of you are around and want to check that out, I guess it's on either the website of Jamyang Buddhist Center or the Meridian Trust. Yeah. What's her name? Robina Curtin. Let me write it down. I'm not exactly sure how you spell her second name. It might be Curtin, it might be Curtan, but you'll find her. Cool. So otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday or Friday to class. Take care, everybody. And please unmute yourself. It's lovely to hear your voice as we say goodbye.